And so just take a few minutes. Jamie, just tell them a little bit about how you came into mediumship so that we can get everybody connected in. I'm trying to make sure all the pages are broadcasting live correctly and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, I've always had some giftings, even as a child. I was one of those kids that when I prayed for things, like there were ladies in the church that wanted children, and I oftentimes found that if I prayed for them to have babies, they did, and stuff. So it's kind of one of those things that I just have had connections with back into my childhood on. And it's kind of interesting because my grandmother on my dad's side um, taught me about the using a sewing needle as a pendulum and such, and gave me the very important instructions of don't tell your mother. So that kind of formulated a lot of my early years and such. I came from a very strict household that did not approve of those kind of things, but was kind of on the Pentecostal side, so there was a little bit of grace for when you had things that were revealed to you. Um, that were on a supernatural level um, in some aspects. So I've I tend to have always had times where I would just know something and find myself asking questions about something that I apparently wasn't supposed to know and didn't know that I wasn't supposed to know it. I just did type of thing. So it kind of has been a natural thing for me um, over the years, and have empathic giftings as well. And as I've gotten older, I have developed them much further and have learned how to also ground, center, banish, and shield to help me to cope with those giftings. Because let's face it, at times you can have the um, when you're empathic, you can have a bit of that overload thing happening. And so learning how to meditate has been a lifesaver for me. And now I actually am doing some coaching and stuff around that, as well as mindset stuff. But I think along the healing aspects, the mediumship, and also I do some card reading and that of various types of cards and runes, as well as I've developed my own um, unique style of working with things called and that in a thing called fabriomancy. Now, I don't know if you've ever looked at your laundry or at some fabric just sitting someplace and been like, I think I see a face there. I had to have that happen so many times that I began to realize, I wonder if anybody does divination with it. I know that I could do divination off of these, and I began to work with it. And I looked it up and couldn't find anything on it. So I've been developing a system, and I'm hoping to actually make some kits for it soon. But that has been an exciting process in being able to see how, when you have a piece of fabric that just lands a certain way, looking at it, just like if you're looking into a teacup, you may see things in the teacup that give you insights, or at the coffee grounds, fabriomancy is the same way. Um, and I think one of the beautiful things with that is you can have special pieces of fabric that you may use to connect with a loved one, whether it's, say, a family member's scarf or some some other piece of clothing. Ca- Casting lots is what they used to call it back ages ago, where it would be a case of, we're going to decide who gets either a good gift, or they might get, executed or what have you, based on the casting of lots. It's kind of the same thing, because it's basically you throw it and see how it lands. And in that case, it was like whichever one got chosen was the one that, had whatever the outcome was supposed to be. But when you work with a piece of fabric that is connected to your loved ones, you can begin to kind of work with, okay, what do you want to tell me, Grandma? Toss that piece of fabric down and see you might see there. You may see some things that will reveal some guidance to you that way. And so I enjoy working with that aspect of it a bit too.
Well, that's so awesome, Jamie. That's so that's beautiful. I think it's awesome when our divination comes through in an unusual way. I totally get it. So, we have a lot of people tuning in. I'm just gonna say we are zoomed in now. So we got lots of people zooming in. I'm just gonna give you a little. Oh my gosh! Like Charlie says, they're here, and Brooke is here. Hannah's I think Hannah said that they're sewing and watching at the same time. and Shally is here, and Nikki. Welcome, Nikki. And Susan Dick and Michelle. We just have a long list of people that are here. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know, Eve, if you'd rather do it via their names, or if you'd rather how do you like to do these readings? Like, some people just start channeling. That's kind of, some people do that, and some people like to focus on the names. How's it work for you?
For me, a lot of times I'm used to doing it more in the Zoom format, so it's a little bit different because I'm used to being able to see the people and stuff like that and interact a little bit more, and that's kind of helpful when you can actually do so. But one of the things I often find is that when I start with a meditation, it kind of tends to guide me in specific directions. And that, so.
Of course. So let's start. You want to lead us in a little meditation, and
sure.
And we can go ahead.
Now, the one that I have done before that some people may remember is the ground center, banish, and shield. But I've actually been working with the I am one a bit. And some people I may have been here when I've shown that one before as well, but I think I'd like to use that one tonight. It's very simple and has ability to expand as needed, because basically it's simple breath type of work, but you're not watching your breath as much as working with the words. I, and then we inhale, and then am goes out on the exhale. Yeah. I am. I am. Now, as you start to do that, allow yourself to be in the moment, just existing. No worrying about the bill that's due or past due. No worrying about what the dog's doing or where, you need to go next. It's just being in that moment. I am. I am. I am. Are you starting to feel the calming effect of it? It helps to build the oxygenation in your bloodstream, increase your oxygen levels, because a lot of times we tend to, when we're stressed, not breathe as fully as we should. And so sometimes it's like we either don't inhale as deeply as we need to, or we don't get it all out on the exhale. Whereas this, we're taking that moment to just be in the moment, bring it in, and then let it all out. I am. I am. Now, what's beautiful with this is that's existing in the moment. You can begin to build that further by adding happy or some other simple words that, that can give you a state of mind that you can use. I usually use 2 words when doing it so that I can continue the rotation of the inhale, one word, and then exhaling through the other word. How about I am open to hear? I am open to hear. I am open to hear. I am open to hear. Hopefully, we're all beginning to hear what Spirit has to say to us in this stage. And hopefully, you out there are open to hear what comes through. I seem to see a child, a little girl, and a white kitty cat. I don't know if this resonates with anybody or not. But it's like she's outside playing, and this kitty cat is out there with her. Little girl seems to have like blondish hair, but not really. It's kind of a light blonde, where the blonde is like in that light, how to describe it, where it is when the sun is on it, it looks more on the blonde, but if it weren't, it might be closer to the browns, where it's in that, I guess you call it dirty blonde type of coloration. I don't know if that's resonating with anyone or not.
I would keep going because sometimes people will need more than two things. Like they won't believe it until it's like three or four things.
Well, that specific kid and the white cat, they're outside playing. And that's what I was picking up in that moment of them the playing outside. I would guess her to be probably maybe in that 5 to 7 range, not quite as young as some, but I don't think quite to that 8, 9 range where they're looking, closer to the pre-adolescent type of thing.
So if you have a person on the other side that has a connection to this in any way, you have to comment to let us know so we can go further.
The other thing I'm seeing seems to be a bit of a young adult man. When I say young adult, I'm kind of at the point in my ages where I even classify 30-somethings as young adults anymore. But I would guess him probably be somewhere in his 20 to 30s. So he's past the point of looking like a kid. So it's kind of that young adult to mid-adult type of range. He has brown hair. I'm not sure of the cause of death per se, but what I'm thinking is probably related to a drug situation. Does feel like there were some racing in the chest area, like heart type of things. And so I would expect that it was probably one of those things where there was an overdose involved based on the type of feeling. Because I'm also getting a feeling in the head, which oftentimes I associate with like fentanyl or something like that. Trying to think of how to express to you the way he looks. He has brown hair, kind of short hair. Um, so I would say, like I say, probably if I were to guess the age, I'd probably guess in the 28 to 32 range, but I'm really terrible at guessing ages.
Shelly Ann says, I'm assuming I'm saying your name right, Shelly. Shelly Ann said that resonates with her. So why don't you go in a little deeper with him and see what else you can find out?
Okay. Do you need anything? Water. What I'm feeling with him, it feels like this person, like I say, my experiences with doing readings, I would probably think it to be fentanyl or something of that nature. It could be another drug, but it does seem to be I feel something like in my chest where it feels like it's beating fast, and like in my head. So that feeling in the head, tingling, it could be that he had some sort of an aneurysm or something like that happen, or blew a blood vessel. But it's also possible that that feeling is just related to being so high and stuff that it was doing that. That's possible that he could be as old as 44. Like I say, I'm terrible at guessing ages. He has this person
Well,
has
those are two different people. It sounds like
yeah.
Shaylee and Lori and Melissa all have people on the other side that overdose with fentanyl. So maybe like with some personality things. Yeah.
I perceive this person's eyes as blue. The eyes seem to be very kind of eyes that, you know, tend to capture your attention. Which to me, I usually associate blonde hair with the blue eyes, and that so brown hair and blue eyes is fascinates me, and that's kind of something I pick up on. The eyes may be the way I see them. It feels like it might be, as I've known different people who have eyes that kind of change color, and that where sometimes they're more gray and sometimes more blue. That's the kind of thing that I feel with this person's thing, where it's like that. Feels like he could have really been kind of a dichotomy where sometimes, thank you, sometimes could be a real character and other times could be very, very depressed. I would consider it probable that there would be times where it would be almost like a roller coaster of where it was like, okay, he's good right now, but then when he'd plummet, it would be like in the doldrums and possibly even have battled suicidality as well.
Wow. It's resonating with a couple of people. I wonder if you have some piggybackers. Is what I'm wondering. Piggybackers, you guys, is when sometimes a couple of like this couple of a spirit that has very similar, because Melissa Addock says it resonates. Laurie says it resonates, and Brittany says it resonates. So that's 3 people, and so in my opinion, that sounds like you got a little bit of a piggyback. Maybe if you focus in on, I don't know if that works for you, Eve, but sometimes if I just focus in on their name, sometimes I can get a specific.
I don't know. The first name that came to my mind was Johnny. I don't know if that resonates with anybody, but that was the first name that comes to my mind right now.
Do we know if he intentionally took his life or it was an accidental overdose? Do we know? Can we ask?
This one, it feels like he may have had times of suicidal thoughts, but that this situation was not an intentional, that this situation was, and I seem to get the sense that this person may have been one of those who gets clean for a time and then went back.
So
And
struggled with addiction.
well, if what I'm sensing is correct, then it may have been one of those things where got clean, went back to what the dosing that they had been before they stopped, which is oftentimes lethal because once you're clean, it's out of your system. That's the
Okay.
kind of vibe that I'm getting, is that he may have actually
Melissa
gotten
Attic
sometimes.
says that the J name, but it's not Johnny, but it's a J name.
Okay.
That happens a lot with us. Okay.
Mhm.
Like you get the first letter. It's
Mhm.
hard to hear names sometimes. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Jamie.
But what I'm feeling, it feels like he did not intentionally leave. He was trying to get better, but had slipped, and that took his life prematurely. If I'm not mistaken, I seem to see two small children. I don't know if that resonates as well or not. I seem to see two small children.
They could be his or maybe somebody like even related to him, like a
Yeah,
niece and nephew or
yeah,
something like that. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I'm not sure who they are, but they seem very young. Like, I would say under 6, probably under 5.
I'm pretty sure it's Melissa. Mine was clean for
Yeah.
months and relapsed, and I had 2 boys when he passed.
Yep.
Melissa. We're matching with you all the way through, so I think Melissa, this is for you.
Yeah.
You have more than several things matched. I think everything's matched so far, Melissa.
Was his name by chance James? Because I know sometimes it's like one of those things where, like, I may have, because I know first name that came to my mind, it was one of those things of Johnny. The other name that had come to my mind was Jamie, which of course is what I go by when I'm doing readings. And so I may have just, yeah.
Okay, so Jamie. Mm-hmm. So his name is James. Okay. Maybe he might have a message for Melissa.
Yeah. He did not mean to. He did his best. He is sorry that he couldn't have been stronger. One of the things that I feel very strongly is that he wants you to know how much he tried, and it's important for you to know that he did love you and that he was not trying to end things when he left. He is watching over you and definitely keeping an eye on the little ones. Is one of your boys around 2, or were they around 2 when he passed?
Well, I think she said the child was 5.5. So
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure what app means, but see, they were 10 and 5.5.
Okay. Okay, so I'm seeing a 2.5-year-old. Now that could be somebody around 2ish. Now it could be that getting a memory type picture, or it could be even him himself at that age, or it could be another relative that was, a nephew or something like that. But It's also possible that your 5.5-year-old might look a bit younger to me too.
Oh, he gave it his all. She says it's supposed to say all, not app.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Okay, Melissa. That makes more sense. Yeah.
He did, and
Oh, she
you'll
said
say,
the last time he saw her youngest was the child
okay,
was
that
one and a
makes
half. So that
sense.
makes sense.
That makes
Okay.
sense because I was seeing a little, and I was like, I didn't think I could be mistaking one that was 5.5, but sometimes as you get older, it's those age things change. Look, but yeah, he loves you all, and you're saying that he gave his all means a lot to him because it's so easy to criticize and to just label somebody as a loser, and to know that he fought as hard as he could is a powerful thing. Does your youngest have some traits that remind you of him a lot? Kind of like his mini me?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. That's beautiful. I wonder if there's any spirits piggybacking on the back on Melissa's
Yeah.
I think it was her husband.
Yeah. I seem to pick up on one with blonde hair. I
Or
get the
lighter
feeling he
colored hair.
may have been a biker. Has kind of that build, and I'm seeing him in a blue shirt, like a blue t-shirt. He seemed to have a bit more of muscular arms than as far as what I'm seeing.
Okay, so it sounds like there's another spirit. Did he die the same way? Was he piggybacking?
I believe that his thing had some sort of a drug connection also.
So okay, so this is a light
Like,
colored haired person. Um
there's actually another one coming through that's also has that biker feel to him, but that one I feel like had a motorcycle accident.
oh.
And that one had no hair, had baldness, from what I'm seeing, like a shaved head. Um,
Hmm.
and I seem to see the motorcycle I'm seeing. I got a couple motorcycles I'm seeing, and the one that seems to be associated with that person is red. The other motorcycle I had been seeing was a blue one.
So are there any people out there? I hear Melissa is saying her other, I guess her ex did that, and he was reddish blonde hair, blue eyes. But she's saying no motorcycle. So is there someone else that has a connection to a person that overdosed or was involved with drug or did drugs and was also a biker that had light colored hair? Anyone out there got that going on? Peep up so we can focus in and get that reading for you. Make sure you comment. Maybe go with a couple other things.
The one with the red bike, like I said, I got the feeling I don't know if he was involved with drugs themselves or not. I think he might have just been piggybacking on the other person in the motorcycle commonalities between those two. But I feel like he was in a motorcycle accident. And I don't know if the accident was what took his life or if it was just something that was a notable thing with him. But it was, I feel strongly it was a red motorcycle.
Adina is just noticing that you did a wonderful reading for Melissa.
Thank you.
We did find a person, Dina. Uncle died in a motorcycle accident. Okay.
Okay.
See if other things match here, Dina. Go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, the things I'm getting with him, he he had kind of a vibe I get off of him is had a bit of a tough exterior, but had a bit of that melty side too in that. So kind of one of those things that went around the guys and in the club and stuff had a bit of that, you know, tough as nails thing, not letting them see any weakness. But when he'd get around family, particularly kids, you could just see the marshmallow side of it. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I know that part of what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing fully, I'm seeing parts of outfit was black leather and that there were some patches which had some red in the design. Um, but what I feel from him is the sense that he did live life in the moment, making the most of each moment at times, but there were some things that he wished he had done differently. And it's one of those things where I think his encouragement to you is to be sure you are enjoying your life. And if you need to make changes to have that enjoyment, do so before it's too late. I don't know if that resonates with you or not, but that's what I'm really feeling.
Let us know, Dina, if that makes any sense to you. And we just keep going and see what else comes to you, um, Jamie.
If I'm not wrong, the accident itself, the motorcycle accident, um, it was one of those things where by the time he was, okay, then it could be somebody else that I'm picking up on then with that. Um, Now, was he blonde or was he more of the bald haired? So those were the two that I was definitely picking up on.
So this person, just to review, this person probably was in a motorcycle accident. Whether they died from that or not is kind of debatable. Dina's saying that he was strawberry blonde. And then what were some other quick details? Were that maybe this person also had a vest, right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yours was the strawberry blonde, not the bald one that I got. Okay.
Great.
Yeah. That one was the blue bike. Is what I seem to associate color wise with that person. Um, and that person has a bit more, they seem to have a bit more of a fun personality than that other guy. And the other one had times of fun, but times of being that stiff upper lip. Whereas this guy seemed to be a bit more on the fun side in that. When what I'm feeling from the blonde haired person is more of a sense of peace that it's as if though his life was shorter than it could have been, he still is at peace now and comfortable with it, I guess you could say, where it's like I get the sense that he may have had some times where he had been struggling, and so it's one of those things of there's peace in the afterlife, and it kind of a sense of floating is what I really pick up on there, where it's kind of that flying free type of thing, and I seem to keep seeing like, and I don't know if this was something that was on any of his things or not, but I keep seeing the winged type of design. And they seem to hear the words, "I got my wings."
So yeah. Sometimes wings resonate on the other side, I think, because when they pass on to the other side, they feel free somehow. They feel, and
Yeah.
it's free from the human experience because now
Mhm.
they're spirits, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Dina, I don't know, we don't know if any of that makes sense. You have to let us know. Um but Jamie, maybe you just bring through any other messages that they have and we
Yeah.
can move on.
What I'm feeling mostly is that it's just a sense that that there's love there for you, and let your let yourself enjoy your life. If you need to if you need to grieve something, do so, but don't let it keep you from enjoying your life.
No, Dina, it's better if you interrupt. And you can't see what you, or Jamie can't see what you're saying anyway unless I post it.
Mm.
But Dina says they didn't want to interrupt. It's okay. Yeah, so it sounds like he was young and carefree. It's better that you validate because then Jamie can keep going, and we'll keep channeling. It's I'll tell you what, the biggest hardest thing that a medium will ever do is overcome self-doubt.
Yeah, I think, like I say, he seems to be impressed with that feeling of flying. That floating and flying feeling seems to be like, yeah. And of course, that makes sense to me from the perspective too of when you're riding on a motorcycle, it kind of feels like you're flying when you're going fast. So getting to actually feel flying after that, yeah. Picking up on a woman now. She seems to have long, straight hair. Um, I think it. I could be wrong, but the vibe I get off of her, um, and I don't want to use the wrong terminology, but the way I would describe it, I would expect that she would possibly have been a biker or hung out with bikers because visually I would classify her as a quote biker babe type of thing. And that so she got the long straight hair and definitely had a bikini body and seemed to enjoy wearing bikinis and that even when just hanging out. Um, I would guess her to possibly be in maybe her 30s, and that could be a little younger or a little older because it's kind of hard to tell um, on that aspect. Sometimes I'm not real good with guessing ages of people. Um, my impression is that she did enjoy partying, and that she may have had some issues with drugs at some points, but I'm not sure if she was using or not at the time that she finally passed. I feel like this person may have actually overcome it. I don't know if that
So if
resonates.
that stuff resonates, just speak up, speak up, speak up. Even if just like 3 out of 4 things resonates or something like that. Some mediums are, science proves that mediums are about 70 to 75% accurate.
Her hair is what I would
Even the professional ones.
her hair is what I would classify in that brown, in that where it's not I would say slightly lighter than mine, but brown, not blonde. Though I also seem to be seeing a flipping with possibly having used highlights at some points, to particularly on the tips. I don't know if the name Cassie means anything to anybody, but that name just popped through my head too.
So let's just review what all the things were. Let's see. You're pretty sure it's a woman, and that she kind of liked to party. She liked to have a good time. She enjoyed wearing bikinis and dressing what would be seen as typically attractive. And anything else that I missed?
Not that I recall.
Okay, so do any of those things match? Otherwise, we'll scooch on to, I'm sure there's another spirit banging down the door.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking up on someone else that's I would classify as non-binary, or gender fluid. Name I'm getting is something like Danae or Donnie or Donna. It kind of feels like they may have used some sort of a unique spelling on it, or Danique. They have dark hair and seem to have kind of that presence of just kind of wanting to be fabulous and enjoy life. But they also seem to also have had some times where they were more emo and whatnot. I seem to see a bit of the eyeliner being very strong on this person, and the hair seems to be black, but also have some parts that are more of a blue and whatnot. I get the feeling that their hair color was pretty subject to change. The shirt that I'm seeing seems to be like a black shirt with kind of the tarred effect to it. I don't know if that resonates with anybody or not.
Does anyone know a person that might have been, they may not have identified or outwardly called that, called themselves non-binary or whatever. Sometimes gender variant people come through and we just see that they were gender variant. So it could just be a person that's like, that challenged gender roles. We all know people like that. Some, more effeminate masculine people, or masculine people born and labeled as women. Donnie says Dawn says my best friend called me Donnie. That's interesting.
Was your best
Um,
friend gender variant?
yeah, that's what I usually say, like gender variant, or challenge the gender norms. So that could be as simple as like a woman that does a man's job, or a man that's more sensitive. Yes, Dawn says. Yes.
Yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm sensing from this person um, feels like really like wanting to hug you. Like literally, like if you could take and just put physical arms through the air, they would just hug you so tight. I get the feeling also that they were the type to literally jump up and down. I'm so happy to see you. And that's the type of energy that I'm feeling from them. They're, you know, happy to connect with you and just, so much love. So much love there. And they seem to want us to know not to let anybody box you in. Did they have something with their heart? Did she have something with her heart going on? So I seem to be feeling pressure right in the center of my chest, which I usually associate with heart issues. It can sometimes be lung issues, but usually where I'm feeling it is slightly different for breathing than it is for heart.
Or when she passed, do you think her heart might have been greatly affected? But Dawn is saying yes.
Okay. She's thankful for all the time she had with you. You made her feel like she mattered. I get the sense there were others that made her feel like she didn't matter. But that knowing that she mattered to you made a difference. Does she have any children? I seem to be seeing a little boy, and I don't know if he's connected to her or connected to you
Oh,
or just somebody else coming through.
she was told she had a heart blockage just 24 hours before she passed. Oh man.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Oh wow. Yeah. But she doesn't have any kids. Dawn, was she close to any small children, or like nieces, nephews, cousins, or small kids that she just kind of adopted? That's what I say.
Yeah, I was wondering if it might be one of your children or if this is somebody that's just a kid deciding to come through.
She said her grandson. Okay.
Okay. Is he in that 2 to 5 age bracket? I would guess probably more in the 2 to 4 age range.
How old's your grandson, Dawn? She said that he's 8 years old, but he is really small for his age, like really short and tiny.
Okay.
So maybe you're seeing
Yeah.
the child. Are you seeing the child? Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Does he get picked on a lot? I just feel like there's extra hug and love for that little guy. And I think that, she's sending that through. I, I don't know if he gets picked on a lot or what, but it feels like,
Yeah.
yeah. Make sure he knows that he is valuable as he is and should not let anybody try to make him feel bad for being himself. He's taller than people think on the inside. He has a powerful spirit. Don't let anybody squish that spirit. She still watches him play. Brings lots of joy to her. I'm now picking up on another child. I think this one is one that has crossed over. It's a little girl. Seems to have blonde hair. I'm seeing a bike of blue. A blue bike. I would gauge the age as maybe 8 or younger, possibly even as young as 5, but I don't think any younger than 5. I'm wanting to say the 6 to 8 range, maybe even 9-ish, depending on size. If the child was on the small side. Get the feeling that this little girl had some health issues that were ongoing.
Just back on Dawn real quick. She said she thought she saw her walking in the house. She saw her walking in the house the other night. Well, Dawn, that's probably a validation that she's with you, huh?
Yep.
So now this sounds like you're also bringing through a child,
Mm-hmm.
Jamie, a young child. Um, how old do you think they might be? Like, are they younger? Are they like
I would classify
closer?
them probably in the 6 to 8 range. They could be as young as 5 or as old as 10, but not going through puberty yet. I would my best gauge of age would probably say about 6 to 8.
You said she has a bike that
Okay,
she was
seeing a
very
blue
fond of.
bike, I seem to get the sense that she had some health issues. What I'm feeling it in the chest. I'm also feeling something going on with the tummy region. Like I don't know where I'm feeling it. It's one of those things where I would guess there would be heart issues involved and might be some digestive issues. I'm actually wondering if this child was a preemie and born with some organs not fully formed or something.
Like maybe it was like a degenerative thing, or not degenerative thing, but a thing like they were born with.
Congenital. Yeah.
Congenital. That's the word I was looking
Yeah.
for. Okay.
But I don't know that it was necessarily a hereditary thing. it seems like it could be hereditary, but it could also be something that would be typical of a preemie, um, where it's like, heart area definitely has pain I'm feeling there, but I also feeling something going on with the stomach region and possibly with the head too, because I'm getting this kind of strange tingling in the head as well. So,
Does anyone have a young child that has passed? Feels like a
this
little
one definitely
girl.
is a little girl energy.
And
Hair is kind of
sounds like,
blondish.
yeah, it sounds like she had a bike. She was very connected to her bike. Could be like a little tricycle or something. And and the child was born with some sort of health problems that sound like they probably took her life later on. Oh. All right. If this doesn't resonate, Jamie will have to let that spirit go and move on to the next one.
Yes.
Maybe the
But
person isn't commenting or something.
maybe somebody will see it in the replies. Never know.
Yeah, maybe.
There are a couple of other children that seem to have come through along with her. One of them is a boy. His hair is dark in color, not black, but a dark brown. I'd say probably about the same color as mine, maybe slightly lighter. I feel like he was probably around 7. He could be a little younger or older. I seem to see him falling down on a sidewalk, and I'm not sure that that's in any way connected with his injury or not, but or with his passing or not. But I do see like falling and slightly unusual gait, so he may have had some sort of thing like CP or something. I just see him kind of running along, but then kind of taking a tumble. The name I'm getting right now in my head is Bobby. I don't know if that resonates with anybody or not.
Does anybody have any children? There was a little girl. There's a little boy. This little boy might be a B name like Bobby. I'm trying to think of what else. What else you said?
I'm seeing something of a house that's green. I don't know if that resonates with anyone either or not.
There's a greenhouse for this little boy. All right.
This house seems to be like a 2-story type of thing. So, and that not a ranch style. There's also a girl who seems like I would classify as probably a person of color in that description. I'd say like a medium tan to light brown.
Okay, wait a minute. There's two boys here.
Okay.
What color did you say his hair was? Dark hair.
Yeah,
Was
I would
ill
say
6 to
brown hair,
12.
like my hair color or slightly lighter. Yeah.
Okay, so this child had to be carried, and he had
Mhm.
dark hair. And then more, Molly Bakulo also said she had a baby boy, 11 years old, dark hair.
Okay.
So, okay, so it could be either one of these children.
Does a
All right,
greenhouse resonate with either of those?
how about a greenhouse or is that it? Yeah, just a greenhouse. Was there any other details?
Like, like I say, seeing them falling. Um, so I suspect it's probably the one that had to be carried, but not.
This person,
Yeah.
Stephanie. Stephanie. Does a greenhouse make any sense? Can you think of if maybe you have a greenhouse, or he lived in a greenhouse, or maybe he had a greenhouse toy, a toy that was a greenhouse? Who knows? Hard to say. She's saying that their house was gray, but it was 2-story.
Okay.
Hmm. Could be. Sounds like we're pretty close,
It,
Stephanie.
it could be uh, also the shade of green that I was seeing is relatively it's that darker hunter green where it could go almost to a black or a gray. So
Molly is also saying that her parents' house, where he stayed for a month before his passing, has a green gate.
ah,
Hmm. Oh, wait. Stephanie said our aunt has a greenhouse.
okay, yes, that would be the one then. This one
Okay.
is.
All right. So this is Stephanie. Is there any other messages for Stephanie? I think it's your cousin, Stephanie. Yeah.
Um, what I am feeling is that his pain is no longer there. He is at peace, and he's doing his best to help to heal all of you that he loves that are still here. He's watching over you. And do you have a child? I get the feeling that he may actually sometimes check in with the kids. I don't know if you've had any situations where they've been playing with an invisible friend type of thing, but I feel like he may have kind of done some, and now he's not limited by that physical body that was so hard for him. He's free to be wherever he needs to be, and
Stephanie does not. But how about someone else? Stephanie, is there any other children in your family, like by your aunt or something? But very close with his sister's children. Okay, that
okay, yeah.
that makes sense. Maybe you can ask her and see if the
If
kids have
they
been like
say
having a
anything
fake
about
friend.
seeing him, believe them.
Yeah. One of them is her goddaughter. Has your goddaughter been talking about seeing another child, or playing with an invisible friend, or anything like that?
Or seeing their uncle on and that saying that they've seen their uncle. I'm not sure if this is for this one or if this is for the other lady who had a child who passed at 11. I'm seeing something that I think may be for that
Keeps
one.
freezing now. I heard checking on kids. Okay.
Um, but I'm getting something with bubbles. I think this may be related to the that other child that had passed around age 11. Uh, and I don't know if that makes any sense or not. No, it does anything relating to bubbles have a specific significance for your child? Because I seem to be seeing like playing with bubbles, and kind of there's a lot of bubbles in different sizes and a sense of excitement in it. So I don't know if your child was very, excited and attached to them, or if maybe there was some sort of bubble ceremony when passing. Mm.
I forget what Molly's child. What? Oh, Molly, did the child pass?
They still send bubbles back and forth to him? I get the sense that there may be some bubbles sent kind of as a communication form.
Okay. Okay. So the child's passed about a year ago, and she's saying my son. So I'm assuming your son passed a year ago, Molly.
The bubbles. If you're using bubbles to send him your thoughts, you're definitely reaching him, and he really appreciates it. And yeah, you may see them go in interesting ways where it's like, ooh, suddenly a wind from the west or from the east or different directions than everything had been going. It'll suddenly shift or slide in different ways or join together. I get the sense that he really enjoys that. Have you caught some feathers recently or found feathers recently? I just had a flash of feathers. Yes.
Sounds like the bubbles are definitely resonating.
Yes.
My daughter found a feather. Wow.
Yes. So he is definitely checking in on you and whatnot. And as if yesterday was his 1 year transition transition anniversary, yeah, he definitely wants you to know that he's safe, keeping an eye on you, and loves you all so very much.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. Brad is checking in on the kids. Yep.
Yes.
That's exactly what it was, Stephanie. You're right. Oh, because you are freezing up. Okay. You're welcome, Molly. Sounds like your baby's with you. In case you ever doubted. We should never doubt that spirits are with us. Spirits are always with us. But
The,
there's your validation in case you needed that.
the little girl that I was picking up on before, like I say, she has, I'd say, a mid tone of complexion, like in that tan to light brown range. Um, I see pretty pigtails. and that, and a smile, such a pretty smile. Um, I would guess her to be maybe in that 7 to 8 range. Could be a little older or younger. Um, when I see her, I feel like this part right here in my neck feels odd, which is like right where the carotid artery is. I'm not sure if that has any significance to her passing or to a health issue she was having. Oftentimes it does. I'm not exactly sure how to interpret it with that location, unless there was some sort of a circulatory thing, or that there was an injury to the neck or the jugular area somewhere in this region of the carotid.
Hey Davy, yes, we if it resonates with you, so what Jamie is doing is bringing through spirits, and if it resonates with you, you just speak up. You just let us know that it matches. Sounds like this little girl, trying to remember all the details. I think she had a bike, she has slightly tan skin. Um, and it also sounds like, you know what, Jamie, the carotid artery, not everybody might know this, and I don't know, the persons that was
Mhm.
connected to the child probably knows, but they put, when you've had some sort of heart thing,
Mm.
they'll put an IV right here, and it can be
Ah.
quite uncomfortable. It could be very
Mhm.
uncomfortable. uh it would wake it. It was one of the things that woke me up out of the drug, out of being under. It's like one of the first
Mm.
things I noticed. It's very, very uncomfortable, so I'm just going to
Mm.
say that in case you didn't know that. If there was
Mm.
a little girl that maybe had some sort of health problems that was hooked to an IV, um the IV that goes in the neck is quite uncomfortable.
Mm.
Speak from experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brittany, they can be really bad. I agree, Brittany. I don't know. The one in the neck though is notable. I mean, compared to like hands and arms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this little girl, like I said, she's got a beautiful smile. Um, seem to see a stuffy, it could be a doll, but I seem to see it, what I perceive it as is kind of like a rabbit type of thing, or a rag doll. Um, kind of like, those rag doll rabbits. Um, it seems to have like a pink dress of some sort on it.
Hmm. Maybe like a doll or something.
Yeah.
A toy. Yeah, this little girl is still reaching out, still looking for their person. Might be listening. Maybe you don't believe, maybe you're skeptic or whatever. That happens. It happens. I've had people come to me the next day and go, I was listening and all these things matched, and then you moved on, and I was like, but she didn't say anything. So that happens, Jamie. It definitely happens. It happens to me all the time. And I just laugh. But it's part of, sometimes skeptics,
Yeah.
they, I don't know, they don't recognize the details at first or something. So if you know a little girl that has passed on the other side that had some health problems, um, you know, you might want to speak up. Otherwise, Jamie, I don't know where you are in your energies, but you speak your truth and let us know if you have another spirit or two, if you're done. Let us know where we're at.
I think there's a couple more that are trying to come through.
Okay.
I seem to be picking up on some elder people as well. Um, the one person I'm picking up on, I think, could possibly be a grandmother to this little girl. Um, it might not be, but came through near that child, and has enough visual similarity that maybe they're related, maybe not. this is a lady I would guess to be probably in her 60s, maybe 70s. I can't really tell. Um, she has graying hair, but some hair that's still black. Um, has a lovely smile and seems to be a relatively peaceful type of person. Um, the type that I would say is kind of has a more quiet energy to them. Whereas, some people can seem to have a boisterous energy. She sort of has a calming energy about her. Um, I get the sense that she may have had many grandkids, and quite possibly, I would guess, a large number of kids seem to be getting the numbers like 5 to 7 in that area. It's like, I feel like she may have had some kids that were hers by birth and others that were found along the way and became mom to as well. And as the grands happened, there was a bit of that as well.
Brooke said sounds like her mom, not related to the little girl that was trying to come
Okay.
through. Okay. Yeah. All right. It sounds like your mom. All right. Let's keep going.
I get the sense that this lady did a bit of crocheting or needlework, and and I'm seeing like things having been made that that really were made with love. I get the sense that there may be some of those things that are, the cherished memory things that people have from them.
Just saying, isn't Hannah sewing right now? I don't know, Hannah. You said at the beginning that you were going to be sewing. Are you still sewing? Okay, but Brooke said that her mom did sew, and Hannah is also saying both. Okay, so still both of them, still matching to both of them.
The thing that I pick up on with this lady is such a calming energy. And like I say, I get the sense that she had quite a few kids. And not all of them were necessarily by birth, but she was kind of the one that would, have a few extras that didn't really much matter because, well, they just became part of the family too, type of thing. And the grands were kind of the same thing, where she just kind of was the one that everybody loved and wanted to be there, type of thing. I get the sense that some of the kids that she kind of took under her wing didn't necessarily have parental role models and grandparent role models to be that supportive, and that like some may have lost them.
Brooke said that she has
That
6
sounds about
kids
right.
and stepkids.
That
Yeah.
sounds about
Wow.
right.
Okay. Yeah, that's what you said. That's what Jamie said just a little bit ago. Okay. And so it sounds like it's for you, Brooke. Okay.
Have you been following in your grandmother's footsteps when it comes to creating family from multiple ways? Just kind of finding your connections along the way. I feel like one thing that she seems to be saying is that, family comes in all varieties, and it's powerful when we connect. It doesn't have to be through blood, but it doesn't make it any less significant. When you find the people that you're supposed to connect with, that process, the love brings you together. And always remember that love, even when there are times that you may be disagreeing or at odds with each other, remember that there is love, and don't let disagreements blossom into separation or uh, being exiled from one another. I don't know if that resonates with you.
Um, so Brooke says that really, I understand that definitely. Okay. So that makes sense to you. Great. You're welcome, Brooke. You are so welcome.
And
Yeah.
I do feel like there's something for you too. Is there a crochet project that you're trying to do currently? I seem to see a partial crochet project, like something that hasn't been completed yet.
Yeah. Hannah says yes.
Okay. Be patient with yourself and know that you can do it. I think that it may apply to the crochet, but I think she's also sending that in relation to other aspects of your life as well. She's proud of you. And much love to you.
Hannah says that sounds like my grandma. She would say things like that. Sweet, Hannah. No, Hannah, that your grandma was your best friend. Sweetness.
I'm picking up a gentleman. I don't know if he's connected to Hannah. I don't get the vibe that he's connected, but it seemed to have come through as well. And this gentleman has gray hair. I would classify it as like a slate gray, so a darker gray. Um, and he seems to have kind of what I would classify as more of a squared jaw in terms of features, like a longer face with that squared jaw. When you think of squared jaw, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, if you've ever seen John Wayne's face, that kind of face, where it's a bit longer and has that really rugged look. This man, I see him in a plaid shirt. I would not be surprised if he had some sort of like a homestead or a farm of some sort based on the vibe he gives, possibly even more of a ranch type of thing. I'm also seeing a dog with him that is brown in color and has floppy ears. More like, what I'm trying to think how to describe it. More like like I would describe like a chocolate lab or something of that nature, where it's that, short hair and floppy eared.
Riley Shea on the mediums group is saying sounds like my grandfather.
Okay.
But Brittany is also saying it there. So there's there's a couple other people. Keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else?
Well, I noticed this dog. I'm pretty sure that the dog and he are connected, like very, like they're together. um, and that. And I get the sense that he was someone who may have had times where he was a bit brusque in his presentation, and he had a very strong work ethic. Like I say, I really feel like he may have been, more on the farm or ranchy type of thing, um, working. But I also seem to see something of a truck, and I'm not sure if they're connected things or that he did all of that, or if the truck was somebody else that would bring things or what have you. But I believe the dog is with him, but I could be incorrect on that. My sense is the two of them are both on the other side.
Okay, so Riley, the answer is yes, and Brittany. So we're down to the people that still resonates with is Brittany and Riley in the group so far. Do you feel any name around it?
Name I'm feeling right now, I could be wrong, but the name Jerry or Larry or something.
Is it like a G name?
It's one of those things where it's like I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like it's Jerry or Larry or something airy type of thing, or Gary.
Gregory.
Yeah, Gregory could be. I knew there was that ending part there. Yeah, it could be Gregory.
Okay, I think this is for Riley. So far, we're starting to match up with Riley in the group.
Definitely was
Okay.
not a Chris name.
Yeah, but it maybe they're saying
Yeah.
Gregory. Okay.
This
And
man.
plus Riley also asked about the name Emily.
Mm.
So that could also be. Anyway, go ahead.
This man, I get the feeling that he was kind of the by your own bootstraps thing, but he also was someone who, though he could have times where he was kind of on that brusque side of things, he also could be very compassionate at times and giving, and that may have been involved in some of the civic organizations. First thing that just came to my mind was 4-H. So he may have actually volunteered with those or scouts or something like that, where there'd be
Riley,
opportunities.
does that make sense? Did your grandfather volunteer with any kind of organization like Scouts or 4-H or probably just about anything? It's just that energy of being involved in the community. Okay. She said they didn't, but they did have horses.
Horses?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely getting farm things. Did they have any chickens there as well?
Yeah, she said he didn't really homestead as much, but different people have different definitions of what homesteading is, you know? So. Yeah, she said, yeah, they had chickens. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. As far as like the charitable things, that could be as simple as, a lot of people, do that through their churches and stuff. So um but I get the sense that he wants you to know that he is proud of you. And do you have a little one? That might be somehow connected with him, with the grandfather in some way? 'Cause,
Do you have a young one, Riley? Yeah. Two. Two, Riley said.
does one of them share part of his name or something like that, or have some sort of a stronger connection to him? Or maybe has a personality that reminds you of him more? Uh, he is proud of you. He's proud of them, and he's definitely watching over y'all.
So
And if
she's saying that her middle name is after him.
okay,
Wow, that's interesting, Riley.
if you need assistance, call on him. I don't know if you're in a situation right now where there's somebody who needs him to give them a kick in the tush, but he did kind of indicate if somebody needs a kick in the tush, he'll do it. I I don't know if that makes sense or resonates, but kind of that he's looking out for you and will do what it takes to make sure you're okay.
She did ask, Riley did ask, my cousin is here and asking about Chris, if you feel anything.
Not sure if
Is there anything from Chris or Greg? Oh. She's saying, I think she's saying that Chris or Greg is on the other side.
the name Chris seems to resonate with a different type of energy. I'm feeling a bit of a younger energy. Was that person, if that was the person that you're talking about, injured in an accident?
Yes, she's saying yes.
Okay.
Younger. I think she was saying yes to younger. I don't know about
Yeah.
the accident yet, but
Yeah.
yeah, he was young.
I get the sense that he has sent some signals. Have you had some light flickerings? So I am seeming to see a bit of that flashy thing going on.
And Riley is saying that it was definitely an accident, um, for both, I guess, for Chris and Gregory.
He's
She
okay.
just started laughing.
He is
I
okay.
guess.
I get the feeling that he is a bit of a prankster, so that you may get a few things. I could be wrong on that, but I get the vibe that he's got a bit of flick the lights and stuff and say hi, and then when you're trying to figure out what's going on, it's like there's nothing wrong, nothing there. So, but check, be aware that he's checking in and keeping you on your toes, and I feel like that. Am I wrong, or does that one have a little one too? At least one little one.
Riley said 100%. I think she's talking about her cousin. She just said yes. So I'm assuming yes to the little girl.
Little one is sure that they remember that she remembers him well and whatnot. Don't let her forget, but let her also not live in sadness, but to remember with joy. So be sure and tell all the jokes and all the stories about all the funny stuff he's done, so that the memories share the laughter and not the tears so much. I think that's everything that I'm getting right now from those. And I do believe that I'm going to need to be getting off here soon because my computer is now giving me the warning that I'm going to have to plug in otherwise.
Well, and that's you guys, if you Riley's I think Riley's very grateful for them and their cousin. And everyone that's tuning in, thank you for tuning in today. Keep in mind that at any time, you can book a private with Jamie Angel at Psychic Insights. And Psychic Insights were just a team of mediums and such that do readings. And you can guarantee that it will be recorded, it's reliable, it's legit. We're not a bunch of scammers, because I'll just tell you, if you haven't figured it out yet, if you're sending gifts on PayPal to somebody, that's a good way to get scammed. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Make sure they have a website, make sure they have scheduling software. And that's why we have Psychic Insights, so that all the mediums that are absolutely legitimate and that are absolutely reliable, and that you'll get a good reading. And if you don't, you know what? Don't worry about it. We'll just give you your money back, okay? And if somebody's going to play the system that much, they will figure it out pretty quickly, okay? Most people don't. Most people are like, "Hey, I had um I had great readings with Jamie." And you can look in the mediums group. You can search Jamie's name to read some reviews with Jamie. And Jamie will hopefully be here next week around this time. So look for that announcements, and we'll try to keep regular events going on. Um, Hannah said, Grandma seems to be tuning in with the readings lately. Do you think she misses talking to me? What do you think about that, Jamie?
Yes, but you can talk to her directly. And I think she wants to remind you of that, especially taking the time to do so while you're working on things where you can kind of co create together, being her hands to create those things that she once created. And
Right.
that's a wonderful form of meditation, actually, to raise your vibrations, to connect with your loved ones, is to co create with them.
Absolutely. Brittany's saying that they're proud of you. She's proud of you, Jamie, showering you in love and light. Stephanie said thank you. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. And we're trying to do live so you can get to meet all of the psychic mediums here in the mediums group. We're all have our schedules posted at Psychic Insights. Do not send money to someone that you're chatting with in a messenger that wants you to just randomly send it to some email. Just don't do that, okay? It's a real good way to get yourself scammed. Thank you, Stephanie. I'll be posting. My son is awaiting surgery for a special device, so thank you for showing your love and care about that. So good news is he's woken up out of the medically induced coma, and he's okay. There's no brain damage, and he's walking and living his life. Right now, he's wearing what they call a life vest, which will shock him if his heart does that again. So he's gonna implant a device that will keep him alive in the future. It's a genetic heart condition called HCM, and you can learn more about it at 4hcm.org. If you know anyone that's passed out and they don't know why, you might want to check into HCM because it's very rare, often overlooked and misdiagnosed by doctors. Okay, they have to be a specialist. Oh, congratulations, Hannah! You got your job. You got your job as a teacher for the deaf. And thank you everyone for your support and your love, and keep tuning in. We have more lives tomorrow. We have more. I'm doing a live on Sunday, so we have upcoming lives later tomorrow, just about every day. So keep tuning in to see what readings. And of course, if you want a private reading, what I always like to say is that sometimes, especially if your loved one was particularly private, sometimes they won't come through because they want you to get a private reading. They're kind of like, I don't want my private business broadcasted on some YouTube or Facebook page. So you might just want to think about that. If you're trying to connect with a particular spirit, consider doing a private reading with Jamie, and you can follow the link I've posted, and it's all over the place in this, wherever you're commenting. I'm sure you can find it. And of course, it's right there, psychicinsights.life/Jamie Angel, and you'll find it. We're happy to direct you there if you need more help. And if you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. And we'll see you next week for some more readings with Jamie Angel. All right. All right, everyone. Good night.
Are you seeking guidance on your spiritual journey? Need help with a vexing problem? Missing a loved one and looking for answers? Look no further than Psychic Insights, a small trusted psychic service offering mediums, psychics, and spiritual coaching. This service is managed by Hollis Taylor, a gifted psychic medium, astrologer, and a compassionate coach. We are dedicated to helping you navigate your spiritual awakening. At Psychic Insights, we provide medium readings and psychic insight to help you plan for tomorrow and make choices for today. Find the support you need, compassionate grief coaching, and astrological insights to help you spiritually grow and transform. Our professional services include well-managed schedules, recorded sessions, and reliable psychic mediums ready to facilitate your transformational experience. Discover more at psychicinsights.life.